Welcome to the IPC Morning Fellowship podcast. My name is Matthias and I'm from Denmark. And today I have with me three guests. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Alu and I'm from Brazil.
Hello, I'm Sep and I'm from Germany.
And I'm Molly and I'm from the US.
So nice to have you. Today we will discuss the future of Morning Fellowship and how it can be improved. The first thing that we were going to discuss today is, are students really giving fellowship a chance? And is it okay for them to wake up 1 minute before, and are they going to have the attention span to actually pay attention at fellowship? So we also have our journalist Malu today. She has been collecting interviews from fellow students, and let's see what they had to say about the first topic.
No, if you wake up 1 minute ago, it's a bit hard to be focused during the fellowship and you just fell back to sleep.
I don't think people pay attention to morning fellowship because for me, honestly, it's a bit boring. And some news are not from all over the world. And I would I feel that the news are more from America, the USA. And I feel that I want to know more about South America, other country like in Africa, in the continent of Africa, other country in Europe, and we don't learn about this. And even from my country, there is a lot of strike and a lot of problems, and not even they don't talk about this, and they only talk about shots in the USA. So
Only time I went to breakfast, I was way more focused for the fellowship and in shape and without my belly starving. And
I'm only going to fellowship on Monday and Thursday to cleaning for my group, but on Tuesday and Friday I'm not going because I don't have class, the first class, so I'm not going. So, but maybe I would go if it was interesting and if a student would do an activity or talk about the country, I think I would go, and I think it's interesting that not only the teacher are doing the fellowship. Mm-hmm. I think it's more interesting when the students are doing it.
Okay, so that was our comment from the students. What do you guys have to say?
I agree with them. When we have the students there, it's really interesting. It's nice to pay attention, and it's usually different things and interesting things.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that when students present anything, people are overall just kinder to them and actually paying attention and being quiet and stuff. With that said, it is hard to get students to be involved, especially without a program like Morning Fellowship Lab. With a program like this, students are asking students to perform and prepare things, but without this, then teachers are just asking, and that's a much rougher process.
What about the people who wake up 1 minute before the fellowship starts? Are they going to be able to have the attention span?
I feel like it's better than not showing up at all, but usually your brain needs at least a few minutes to actually wake up and to get rolling. And if you just take those 10, 15 minutes instead of 1 minute, we could just easily improve the attendance and the awareness of people at fellowship.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's a hard group to kind of zone in on just because having those people there at all is nice. But I also think that I'm one of those people, and you have the music going when you sit down, you have your friends walking in. It takes a few minutes to get it going anyways, and if you actually participate, maybe sing a little bit, you'll be awake enough to know what's happening, in my opinion.
Yeah. Do you think a better breakfast would really help us turn up for fellowship?
I mean, it definitely would help for some people because you get more energy. But there are also quite a few people who generally don't eat breakfast, so that wouldn't help them. But it could improve at least the quota.
Mm. What makes you guys go to fellowship?
Guilt.
Guilt?
Mm-hmm.
I like to know what is happening in the school. Usually they talk a lot of things, important things there. And I like to see my friends. They are talking about something. I think it's this.
Yeah, I feel the same way. If I'm not going to fellowship, then I feel like I missed out on what's happening in the school. And that's
I agree.
something I really want to know when I'm here.
You get informed about stuff. Obviously, there's also the feel of obligation because theoretically you have to be there, but on the same time, like you learn stuff about what's happening this week. You get announcements, and also, as mentioned in the interviews, yeah, you have to do cleaning on 2 of those days as well. So
Yeah, I think maybe morning fellowship happening like less would help that, because if you like, I especially go when we have to clean. That's usually when I'm always there. And if it happened only on days that we have to clean, then kind of the important things would be more zoned in on. It wouldn't be about filling time, and that would get me more there.
Good point. Okay, should we move on to the second question? Do you think fellowship is in the right time slot? And it has been at 10:15 in the past and also at 12. Right now we have it at 8:30. Let's start by seeing what our journalist Malou has gathered from the people.
I like it to start the day. Like, I would rather have it at the beginning of the day than in the middle, because I feel like people also wake up for the fellowship, and if it was in the middle of the day, we would just wait and wake up or start our journey at the time the fellowship starts.
I don't wake up for breakfast because it's not worth it. But if I had a higher motivation, I would probably do it. And I've talked to a lot of people that say they would if the breakfast would be better.
Maybe if it was before lunch, a lot of people would go. Because I feel that people, if they don't go to breakfast, they don't go to fellowship, but they are going to their class. So maybe they will go directly to their class, like breakfast class and fellowship after, just before lunch, because all the people will be wake up at 12. So maybe it's another time, but at the end of the day, I think it's not very good.
I think it could be better to make it maybe later in the day, like after classes when you have already people up and it's late enough for it to not be an excuse. I think it could be good.
All right, those were the comments from the people. To start by any comments on what the people have said. What do you guys have?
I think that a lot of people say that a better breakfast would get them up and ready and going, and I totally disagree. I think that there could be anything at breakfast, and the people that aren't going to wake up for food aren't going to wake up for food. I'm one of them. I won't go. I mean, and like, I also always wonder what that is that would make breakfast so much better for them. Like more sugar, like a bigger crash later. Like, I don't think that's true. I think people just want to blame anything but them waking up.
I actually really like the idea of doing it before lunch, because there have been some comments that maybe the first class would suffer, but I think there's a difference if you do the first class, because the class is usually something you actually chose. You want to go there, whilst for fellowship you basically need to go and don't really have a choice. So it wouldn't suffer as much as fellowship does if we move the classes a little earlier. And you also have a little more time to do some stuff like cleaning up and some program if you do it before lunch at 12, because you have like 45 minutes and the people are already there, so you don't need to wait an extra 5 to 10 minutes at the beginning of fellowship.
I like the fellowship at 8:30 because I like to see everybody together there, and I like to sing, and I feel that after the fellowship I'm ready to the day. It's like something to start the day for me. So I like 8:30.
Yeah, I think a pro about it being in the morning is if you've waited to say an announcement, you can get it right there in the morning of the day, and maybe midway through the day is too late. So it's nice to just hit that morning slot. But I also like the idea of right before lunch. I know there's a lot of laws about when class time should be and how we have to have morning fellowship or Wednesday fellowship after lunch so that there's a class at each period. But I wonder if they could, only have it twice a week and have it just kind of be a little longer and take up a class period. I think that could be really nice, once everyone's already awake.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. That was great. Let's move on to the third question of the day. Should fellowship be shared between many people? That is the responsibility of the fellowship, the organizing of it, or should it have one central authority running it? Pros and cons to that. Let's first of all see what the people had to say.
Some people you like, some people you don't, some people you listen to, and some you don't. But so you need different people just for the sake of variety.
I think it could be good to have one person usually running it because it'll make the schedule and the like style of it be more pro-leaf, like more, I don't know, like stable to say. So I think it could be good to have one person running it and then just having like guests doing stuff on it.
Okay. Very interesting. What do you guys have to say about it?
I personally think that having a central person could really benefit the fellowship because you have like a clearer structure. You wouldn't have all the time lost during switching slides, during maybe some other problems. But I don't think they should be like the main person running the fellowship every day. They should just like maybe try to do it a little bit more behind the scenes and just then it could still maybe be the TOD or some students involved that actually do the program, do announce some stuff, and it's just like the frame that is being given by that one person.
So we all agree that more student-run activities would improve morning fellowship attendance.
Definitely. But that's also makes running it more difficult and you have to rely on different sources. And I think that without this class, the morning fellowship lab class, that would be really difficult. But maybe if it was one director, you know, doing all the behind the scenes stuff and running it smoothly, maybe that would kind of smooth that process out because every student knows exactly who to go to if they want something. But yeah, I also agree with Kay, like there's teachers that, you know, you don't get along with super well. And if you had to just every morning listen to that teacher over and over and over, or you didn't like the way they did something, that would also get really old. Yeah.
I agree to have one person to take care of the technical thing, to press the buttons and to have the slides, to this technology part, and have a lot of other people, like a lot of students every day to talk about something different, but one authority to take care of this part of the slides and the song. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the TOD actually going through it, but then one person kind of sitting there and running it, that would be really nice.
Yeah, because the person, you know how to do this every day, so you'll be easy to everybody.
Yeah. I wonder if that could even be a student. Like, I'm not sure if this class is happening next term, but it seems like that person wouldn't have to, they could just kind of run it from behind. Yeah.
We could have like some sort of team or task force instead of the class, people who are responsible for bringing students to run stuff at morning fellowship.
Yeah.
That could be a thing.
Yeah.
Or early in the term, we could already start having students run activities. It could even be a mandatory thing in the first half of the term, and then in the second half, people will be very used to it, and it'll feel a lot more comfortable for them to host something.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing about like maybe contact groups. Maybe when you first meet up, you have to think of something to run for fellowship. And then once you kind of go through each contact group of them running something, it's more familiar that students can do it and anyone can do it and it can go different ways. And then I think more people would come forward and be willing to share stories because that's a scary thing.
Yeah, integrating it into a contact group could be a good idea.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's go to the fourth question of the day. How to realistically get students more involved in news, songs, and programs. We touched base on that a little bit. And has MF Lab been a big contribution to bring students to MF? First of all, we will hear what the people said.
Most of the people here are about 18 to 20, so I would say they're still kids. At least that's how I feel. And maybe just make it more interactive.
The morning fellowship lab class is doing very well for that. And the thing you present were interesting, like the fellowship you did on Wednesday when people had to try food was fun. And fun to see, fun to watch, fun to talk about after.
I think I like it better when the students run it. I'm usually there. Last week, no, I skipped a lot, but I'm usually there when I know students are running it. I try to get up for like when I know we're gonna have the news that the students do. I try to get up earlier.
If one student is doing it, I think, and is from his country and is presenting what he's living, like I remember Aaron, I've done one time, and he was speaking about a news in his country, and it was very interesting to learn and to understand what is it, and it was so interesting, I think. So it's better that one people from his country talk about the news of the country, I think.
Like if I knew the songs, I would probably sing. Yeah. So maybe just have students be more involved in it, in the choosing, in the guiding. I don't know.
Great peoples and great opinions. All right, let's hear from you guys. Comments on the speeches first.
I think right away, like I interviewed a few people for this. They didn't really say much, so I didn't send it in. But one of the things that everyone agreed on is that we should have some kind of like song suggestion box or a way to, turn in songs. It kind of gets old singing the same songs, and they could still be sorted through and like picked through, but it would be exciting to hear a song that you know or is from your country or whatever, and not the Beatles again.
I also think that the more interactive part is really an important thing to like actually get the people actually involved, maybe with some discussion about an actual recent topic and something people may actually be invested in, and not some of the discussions that do happen sometimes feel kind of forced, and the topic isn't something the most of especially the younger students here aren't really invested in. So just get a nice combination of, I really like the song suggestion one, then news and program is actually like because of Fellowship Lab, but it's still quite often held by students. And maybe we could announce that there is a program happening by students, because some people just don't seem to know that it's happening, and that's why they don't show up.
Yeah, I think what everybody agree is to have students in the morning fellowship, is to put students in the morning fellowship to present something there. So if you have a student who choose the song, everybody will like it. If we have a student to talk about something, everybody will pay attention. Or if they know this one day before, for example, maybe tomorrow I have to wake up early because my friend or that person will talk about something and I want to know. This is something about, this happened with the news, for example. Every Tuesday now the people want to go to see like what's happening, what's the person now. So they like it, they watching the YouTube later when they miss the fellowship, they watching the YouTube. So
to elaborate on that, this term we have been doing IPC News. It's been MF Lab run newscast with news anchors and news of the week. Yeah.
I've actually heard people say that they went to Tuesday Fellowship just because of IPC News.
Yeah,
that's true.
I think where I really struggle with fellowship is Wednesdays. If like after the announcements go through and it's like the usual run through thing, and then the program happens, and the program is just an hour long of one topic, and it's just kind of a teacher talking. It's really difficult to be there and show up and continue to kind of show respect to that teacher for an hour while you're with everybody in the school. I find that that's very difficult, and I like when it switches from topic to topic on those Wednesdays.
Especially that one, when it's like a niche topic and like that one teacher is really invested into. And like it's interesting to share passions, but you don't want to hear that long about it. You just, okay, that's nice, let's move on.
Yeah, so maybe Wednesdays it should be split into the program. So two teachers has to do a program instead of one program being an hour.
Yeah.
We have two different topics at half an hour or 15 minutes each or 20 minutes each, whatever it might be.
And I really like when fellowship has been in the big hall. I love the UN hall, but it's nice, especially for Wednesday fellowship, to just be able to sit on the floor and not have to sit in those chairs. And I feel like that putting it in a new space makes it feel different and more exciting.
Different scenery.
Yeah.
There's two things that I saw that people like it is when you go to walk and talk around the school or to do something different, to go to the other place in the school. And when we have the crazy day, like the crazy hair or change the clothes, these kind of things, people appear there. Like in the Monday, for example, when a lot of people don't go, when you have to change the clothes with the other people, they appear there like different. So I think it's something you can make in the future.
All right. Now for the final question of the day, and this one's a tough one. How does the perfect fellowship look like? First of all, we have some great people to listen to about their opinion.
When students are doing presentation, because I wanna support them and
With snacks, and a little bit later, and a little bit shorter.
I usually don't sing because I don't know the songs.
I think singing is good because I like singing, and it gets you like wake up.
When they introduced the news thing, I started like being a little bit more excited about it because I knew like Musti and Matthias would be there, maybe even Molly. I knew they'd be on the screen and they would be more news about like us, things that happen in IPC instead of like news from the actual world that I can get anywhere else, like on Twitter or on Google, whatever. I can get my news of that sources from somewhere else. But then having students and news about the students and things that the students are interested in talking, I think it could be a good idea. I think it's better when they do that.
All right. So again, people are saying that they don't know the song, so they don't sing. So a song suggestion box could be a good idea. Anyway, comments on the people's opinions.
Yeah, I agree with them. A shorter fellowship and with more students there, maybe it'd be a perfect fellowship to everybody to see each other.
Yeah, we already discussed the students being involved, but also the topics, what is actually happening in the program, something that needs to be relatable for the students. Maybe we can get some little activity done to actually wake people up, because in the current time slot that it's in, there will be a way to get the day started for some people.
Morning stretching exercise.
Maybe.
Yeah, when we've done that in the past, I've really enjoyed that. Even though I didn't really want to join it after doing it, it was like, okay, that was actually a nice little thing. Mm-hmm. I think that hitting back on the idea of like at the beginning doing group kind of forced presentations with your contact group will open that up. I mean, that's the hardest part. Like, of course, everyone wants students involved, but getting students involved, and I think could be a good way to actually pursue that.
And it would also give the contact teachers a few more things to do, and it would help tighten the bond of the contact group a lot in the start.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like the contact groups are that tight.
Yeah.
And this could be a big contributor in tightening up the contact groups. All right, how about the perfect structure for a morning fellowship?
I like when it's rushed.
Yeah.
When there's so many things and they're kind of rushing through it and the teacher's like, we need to do cleanup. Like, okay, this is going to go by much quicker. And I always like when it's rushed.
Yeah.
One way to contribute to that is having no technical difficulties, which it starts to start with the like hardware itself, like the cables may not be working perfectly, and it continues to like the slides are in different presentations, then you need to switch, then you need to actually duplicate the screen so it's on the screen. So there's like a lot of things you could like maybe teach the teachers or whatever, or with the one central person running it. Either way, that could improve time control.
Maybe just like we have the bike person of the week, we could have the tech support person of the week. So some of the students could be contributing to the tech support during morning fellowship, for example.
Yeah.
So
maybe some new HDMI cords as well.
Yeah. All right. I think we've covered all of the topics of the day. It's been a pleasure having you here. I have been Matthias.
I'm Malou.
I'm Seb.
And Molly.
Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day.